Ever since the release of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker and its teaser trailer just over 1 month ago, a lot of fans have been very eager and excited to see new set of footage of this movie in order to get a better sense and idea of exactly where J.J. Abrams is bringing the fans for the final installment of the sequel trilogy, and exactly what his vision is going to be like for the final act, of course, of this entire trilogy and the entire Skywalker saga. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, what's really exciting about the upcoming trailer is that we do know that it's going to be in the form of both a BTS reel and a regular trailer, which is something very unusual that we have never seen before by Disney and Lucasfilm. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to various shot descriptions of the upcoming footage of this movie, this is where things begin to get very exciting. Now, specifically, shot descriptions consisting of both Kylo Ren and Rey, where it's described that one of the sequences involves Kylo and his knights leading an army of red stormtroopers onto a large battlefield, where it's described that the scenery is said to be very dark, where the knights are holding their lanterns of some kind to lead the way, where the shot is said to involve Rey, Poe, and Finn walking next to each other side by side with dozens of resistance soldiers behind them, with the Tantive 4 behind all these different characters. It's said that in this sequence, Rey has her lightsaber ignited and looks ready for battle against the First Order with her friends and allies. The next describes Kylo Ren holding his new helmet that is repaired and put back together into one piece, where it said that he has a hood over his head where he takes it off and puts the mask on where the scenery dims, revealing only the glowing red cracks in his helmet. It said that dialogue of Luke Skywalker plays over the footage that involves him talking about the dark and the light side, and that there is something so much bigger. Lastly, a description of Rey jumping off of a cliff and hanging onto a rope while she is wielding her ignited lightsaber and cutting through a large antenna structure of some kind on a First Order battlefield. So, I want to go over a couple of parts about this, and the thing that really puzzles me the most is the line of dialogue that is described to be done by Luke Skywalker, of course Mark Hamill, over the new footage that is set for release on July 19th of this year, 2 months to go, by the way. We're not that far away, over at San Diego Comic-Con, where it's about Luke talking about the dark side, the light side, and that there is something so much bigger. I don't know about you guys, but we heard a very similar line in the original teaser trailer of The Last Jedi that was never used in the film, and I believe what they're doing here is that they're giving us the full sentence from that movie and putting it into Star Wars Episode 9, and in the movie we're going to actually finally figure out exactly what Luke Skywalker meant by all of this. Now, could this have something to do with the Netherworld? Could it have something to do with the Beyond, like we've been talking about? Or maybe it could very well have something to do with the Wills. After all, we've been hearing a lot about the Netherworld of the Force coming into fruition for Episode 9, so it could very well have something to do with that. But I digress. The other piece that I do want to go over are the Red Stormtroopers. In case you guys did not know, they are called the Red Fury. Now, these Red Stormtroopers are said to be pretty much, an upper class, set of Stormtroopers above the regular white ones. These are actually crafted by Kylo Ren, set, of course, in between the events of The Last Jedi and, of course, Episode 9. Now, I believe that's another great thing about Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, is that we're getting so many different types of stormtroopers. We're getting the Red Fury, we're getting jump troopers, we're getting mountain troopers, and even hover tank troopers like we saw in Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, returning in Episode 9. So, I digress, moving on from the Stormtroopers and what Kylo Ren is leading in this movie, I also want to go over the sequence that involves Rey actually jumping off of a cliff and hanging onto a rope and using her ignited lightsaber in order to slice through an antenna structure on the First Order battlefield. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this to me sounds like a direct parallel to what we saw in the prequel trilogy era, specifically within Revenge of the Sith, where both Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi are swinging back and forth on ropes and using the lightsabers against each other, where in this scenario, Rey is actually doing the same exact thing, very similar in a sense, except she's attacking a certain structure and or communication structure that belongs to the First Order in order to really strike their weakness because they're trying to call out for reinforcements. So, very interesting stuff, guys. Everything surrounding Kylo Ren and Rey, everything is looking great. So like I say, what's really great about the upcoming trailer that's actually scheduled for July 19th over at San Diego Comic-Con is that once it drops, that's when the marketing of this movie is going to go into full swing. We're talking about getting the first actual poster of this movie, you know, getting a sense of exactly what characters are going to be prominent than others, and exactly what J.J. Abrams is going to offer. We're going to get a lot of new interviews, a lot of new story details, probably the synopsis. That's what they plan to do at every, you know, second teaser and or trailer. Once they drop it over at a different event, they give us the synopsis of the movie. And of course, the other thing is that we will be getting various different interviews and answers to certain questions that'll make us understand a little bit more about exactly where this movie is going and what it's really about down to the heart here by JJ and Chris Terrio. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.